Hey, what's up? This is Kevin from Kevin's Barbecue Joints, and in this episode of Barbecue City Guide, where I talk to a barbecue expert about where to go in a specific city if you have 1 or 2 days. I talked to David Meek about Memphis. He is an expert on Memphis barbecue. He has a book called Memphis Barbecue, A Succulent History of Smoke, Sauce, and Soul. And we get into every place in Memphis that you need to go to. Off the beaten path places, places that are historically famous, places that are famous just because they're the most popular right now. He talks about places that are closed, so that's great to have in your back pocket. So you didn't go straight to a place that might be closed. He talks about what to order at each specific place. It's just jam-packed and wonderful, and we also go deeply into the musical aspect of Memphis and how that is important and how it is tied to barbecue. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Enjoy. Good morning, Craig. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah. How's your day so far?
So far, so good.
So what I want to do is, and why I reached out to you as an expert is I want to know for people if they have 1 day in a city, say they're in town for business, or if they, which is unfortunate because there's a lot to do for food-wise, and then also if they have an entire weekend, say a Friday through a Sunday, what barbecue places they should hit, what places are sort of like the iconic places as well as off the beaten path, and I know you have a lot of knowledge on that, so I'd like to pick your brain for a little bit.
Definitely, like I was mentioned to you earlier, you kind of have to have a car to get around in Memphis to see all the barbecue places. There isn't like one part of town you can go to.
Okay, perfect.
The first stop I tell anyone to go to is Leonard's Barbecue, just because they've been around since 1922. They're the oldest, in town. They actually invented the whole putting coleslaw on a barbecue sandwich. Elvis used to rent the place out at night to throw parties.
Oh, that's neat.
Their original location's gone now, where Elvis used to do that, but there's still one Leonard's left. But they're kind of so original that I would start there.
Perfect. That's great advice. Okay, awesome. So also too, just so people know, are a lot of places open for lunch and dinner, or mostly lunch, or?
It's a good thing you brought that up. Leonard's is only open for lunch. Okay. They used to be open for dinner, but the catering business got so busy for them that now they just they're on lunchtime only.
Okay. Cool. And I'll put links with hours too for people, so that way when I put a companion blog piece with this, so that way it'll help them out.
And from there, if you're at Leonard's, you go up the street to Central Barbecue on Summer. There's 3 Central Barbecue locations. That would just be the closest one to there.
Okay.
I love the barbecue shop in Midtown. Dry rub ribs are kind of a personal favorite of mine.
Okay.
And Leonard's, Central, and barbecue shop are all kind of a big 3 in that area.
Okay. And those are iconic. Like the barbecue shop is iconic for sure in Central as well. Yeah,
barbecue shop was originally a place in South Memphis called Brady and Lil's that was very famous back, like in the 60s. The Beatles ate there. They were recording Willie Mitchell's studio around the corner. He took them there, and so they ended up buying out like every slab of ribs they had to take with them to the bus.
That's cool. That's funny. Did they move to a different location, or was this called something else?
They moved. Brady and Lil, who are the owners of Brady and Lil's, they sold to the Vernon family. And they later moved it up into Midtown, and since Brady and Lil no longer owned it, they changed the name at the time of the move.
All right, excellent. Okay, so those 3 are great. Okay, so can you do, if say you had like the day, could you hit all 3 of? You could hit all 3 of those in one day for sure. Right?
Oh, you could easily hit all 3 of those. Okay. If you're going to be here late at night, I would definitely hit up Alex's Tavern. They're kind of a late night bar that does incredible ribs there.
Oh, okay.
If you wanted to venture a little outside Memphis, there's a place called Memphis Barbecue Company. It's in Horn Lake, Mississippi, so just like 2 interstate exits outside of Memphis to the south.
Okay.
The owners there have collectively won, I don't remember if it's 5 or 6 at this point, grand championships at Memphis in May.
I think it's something like that, yeah.
Serious barbecue people.
Oh, yeah. One quick thing, I'm going to kind of jump around. What should people know about the style of Memphis barbecue? Would you say there's a distinct style? There is a specific style, right?
People here will argue all day long about wet versus dry ribs. Most any restaurant you go to will do half and half. They'll do a slab that's wet on one side, dry on the other. Oh. And so if you're visiting and don't have a preference or haven't formed an opinion on that, definitely do the half and half at a lot of places to decide for yourself what your preference is. And
you're a dry rib guy.
I prefer dry rib with a little sauce on the side.
Okay, excellent. And then also too, so would you say that it's more pork based than beef based? So what if you had a weekend and you had a little bit more time, or other places to go kind of a little further out or out of the way, or?
Actually, a little further in. If you're really going to be out downtown, definitely hit up Cozy Corner downtown.
Oh, yeah.
Central Barbecue has a downtown location. and which stays very busy. A lot of times I send people to the Summer Avenue Central just because it's the easiest to get it out of. The original location on Central and the downtown tend to have a line out the door a lot of the times.
Okay, that's good to know.
And also near downtown, if you're kind of on the way from downtown to Graceland, there's a A&R barbecue on Elvis Presley Boulevard that actually, it's in the city, but it has a traditional country smokehouse, you know, like you'd normally find out in like rural barbecue joints, like the cinder block smokehouse out back.
Oh, that's cool.
You don't see that very often in the city, and they do really good pork shoulder there.
With a Cozy Corner, what would you get at Cozy Corner? Is there anything special that they serve?
Definitely the Cornish game hen. They do really good ribs, pulled pork, like any barbecue place, great cheeseburger. But that Cornish hen you don't really find anywhere.
No, not at all.
It's a whole Cornish hen. Be careful at Cozy Corner. Like a lot of places, they have mild, medium, hot sauce, but their hot is like truly hot. Like they even have signs up there warning that, you know, if you order hot and don't like it, that's on you. You can't get your money back.
Okay, that's good to know. That's really important to know for a lot of people.
Yeah, the Cornish hen, you're like a caveman pulling that thing apart and devouring it.
I don't think I've ever had a Cornish game hen. Do they sell out of those, or is that something that's so special to them that they always have?
They do occasionally sell out. It definitely wouldn't hurt to call ahead just to make sure they have them, but they tend to stock them pretty deep.
So where else could you recommend, say, for an entire weekend there?
If you want to get further out into the suburbs, you've got Bozos Barbecue, which is way out in Mason, Tennessee. It's actually across the street from the original Gus's Fried Chicken. Bozos is like a time capsule. There were parts of Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash movie, were filmed there.
Okay.
And there's the Germantown Commissary, and there's Pig and Whistle used to be a very famous chain the main one used to be on Union Avenue, but there's still one left up in the Millington area. And they actually it's a neat place to try what's called muddy ribs. They're not wet or dry. It's like the dry rub and sauce mixed, and they call it muddy.
I've never heard of that.
If you're going to go to Pig and Whistle, I would definitely try that there.
Do you like the muddy ribs yourself?
Yeah, I'm a fan of them. I eat barbecue so often. You know, my job, I drive around Memphis all day, so I'm always eating at barbecue places. So it's, you know, I like to vary things up a little bit.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Germantown Commissary? Because that's historic.
Yeah, it's an old, like a country store, general store type place that's been around forever. It sits next to the train tracks there. This old, you know, wooden building, and I can't remember if it was I think it was in the 80s that they became a barbecue restaurant.
Okay.
They're a good place for dry ribs, pulled pork. You get like a deviled egg as a side there. That's nice. Most important claim to fame of the Germantown Commissary is they actually invented the barbecue nacho, which is a trademark Memphis dish.
Oh, really? That's them?
Yeah. They were the first one to do barbecue nachos.
And that's it's a restaurant staple for a lot of places.
Yeah, they started Germantown Commissary, and then a place called Hog Wild Catering that handled the concessions at the Redbirds, our minor league baseball game.
Okay.
Team back, I guess it was during the 90s. They started selling them at the Redbirds games. This Hog Wild Catering did, and that's when it really took off because everyone going to the baseball game tried them, and once you try barbecue nachos, you're addicted to them.
No, I can imagine. No, it's that I've had them, but I've never had them at a specific place or a place that was even known for them. It was more so just a place that had like a smattering of barbecue items, and that was one of them. It's because it's kind of easy it's easier for some people to kind of deal with if they just like smoke pork butt. Yeah,
the nachos you can get just about anywhere here. We have several iconic dishes like that because barbecue is so a part of Memphis. Some of the other big ones would be barbecue pizza, which was invented at Coletta's. It's actually an Italian restaurant.
Okay.
The original one's over on South Parkway. It's another place Elvis used to love. He used to send Priscilla to get stacks of barbecue pizzas from there.
That's so funny.
And it's an interesting story how that came about.
Okay.
It was actually in the 50s, Horace Coletta learned to make pizza because you had all these servicemen who were serving up in Millington come in asking for pizza because they tried it in Italy.
Okay.
Chicago learned to make it and everyone was scared to eat it. Like your Memphians, it was like pizza seemed so exotic in the 50s, people wouldn't touch it.
That's hilarious.
This is Memphis. If you pile pulled pork on it, people will eat it. So, it's just a pizza with a mountain of pulled pork on it.
Oh, that's a great tip. That's really cool.
And the other big local thing that's kind of odd to us is barbecue spaghetti.
I was going to ask about that, if that was a big thing. I remember seeing that on the Food Network at one point.
Yeah. Jim Neely's Interstate Barbecue and the Barbecue Shop both claim to have, the original. Obviously, they really, at Barbecue Shop, they were originally Brady and Lil's. That's where it started. And they still have the original recipe there. And Jim Neely grew up down the street from Brady, and so he has a variation of it too.
Okay. How are the do the Neelys still have a number of restaurants in Memphis, or is that?
They used to have a bunch of them. Now there's the interstate. There's just the 3 interstate locations run by Jim Neely. Still runs the one there on South 3rd, and then there's one in South Haven, Mississippi, and one 385 in Winchester area that are run by family members of his.
Okay. Yeah, because and there's an aunt that has a barbecue place out here in Los Angeles called JB's, I think, House of Fine Barbecue or something like that, and it's like the aunt or the cousin of Jim, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. But I remember at one point, I think the ones that were on the Food Network, they were trying. I don't know if they even have restaurants anymore.
Not anymore. They did have several locations around town at one time.
Okay. So where else? I'm loving this. Where else should people go? What's a place that people might not even know of? Or
we used to have 2 big chains in this area back in the 60s and 70s. One called Lowe's Barbecue, one called Coleman's Barbecue.
Okay.
And as they kind of overexpanded and collapsed, they left behind all these barbecue stores that most of them have been, mom and pop places have moved in and opened in.
Oh, that's great.
In those places. So just anywhere you see a little mom and pop barbecue place with that big brick chimney, stop in and give it a try. There's a lot of great places. Showboat is actually owned by an old man who he worked for Tops Barbecue in the 50s, for Loeb's in the 60s, and Coleman's. I mean, he's actually been in the barbecue business since the 50s. He's in his 80s now, and he owns that place Showboat, which is a great, if you want to try like the old school sandwich shop.
Oh, excellent. So is that that would be a sandwich place?
They have ribs and turkey legs, things like that there. But yeah, their pork shoulders, I think the best thing at Showboat. And around the corner from them, there's an old Loeb's. It's a place called Three Little Pigs now. And Three Little Pigs is another great. As a teenager, I was on a lawn crew. That was always one of my favorite places to stop, was at Three Little Pigs.
Yeah, I think, do they have a kind of a cool logo or a funny, like a kind of old school logo?
Yeah, they have that sign of the pig holding up he's holding up the Three Little Pigs, but that pig used to be in front of every Loeb's location, holding up the Loeb's sign.
Oh, okay.
Which Loeb's, he was the mayor's brother. They were the Loeb brothers. So you had the mayor, and then you had his brother who owned all the barbecue places.
Oh, wow, that's great.
So that's I think the last surviving one of those pigs, that sign like that, is in front of Three Little Pigs.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, that's why I've seen it. Okay, excellent. Oh, do you eat barbecue every day, almost?
Definitely several days a week. I'm doing a sales route. I own a business selling auto parts. Mm-hmm. And so, barbecue places and taco places are my main. I'll stop at the taquerias as well.
Do you have a couple, really? Because I know that people love barbecue, love tacos. Are there any places that have barbecue tacos at all? Have they kind of blended? Has that even happened in Memphis yet?
We had a place, Stanley Barbecue, did a great brisket taco. They are not around anymore, unfortunately. You have the barbacoa tacos, which isn't really quite barbecue.
Not quite.
But, that's neat. I do go for the carnitas a lot in the pastor. I still like the pork, even on taco.
That's fantastic. And so, are there a lot of really so is that something for people to know too? Say they've eaten a ton of barbecue. Are there a lot of good taco places in Memphis?
If you go out to Summer Avenue or Winchester, both have a lot of great taco places. I love Mercadito de Memphis. If you're on like Summer Avenue and anywhere says taqueria in the window, you're pretty much good to stop there.
Excellent. Well, is there anything I miss? Is there anything that we miss? Is there anywhere that isn't on the list, or that you can think of of the list that you just gave me? Is there anywhere that we've missed, or anything outside? What should people know about the area of Memphis?
Yeah, if you come to Memphis, the music is as important as the food here. So definitely hit up the Stax Museum, Sun Studio. We've got a lot of musical sites like that. Like Graceland and Rock and Soul Museum. But to me, Sun and Stax are like where things really happen.
True.
That's where Johnny Cash, Isaac Hayes, Otis Redding, Elvis Presley. So many people got there between those two studios. That's definitely something to go and take in.
Yeah, for sure. And what were I hate that I don't know this. What were the Beatles recording in Memphis? Were they?
They're recording at Willie Mitchell's place, which is over near Stax. Actually, more famously, it's where Uptown Funk, Bruno Mars recorded Uptown Funk in the studio as well.
That's kind of funny. But traffic wise, is it pretty easy to get around, or like it's not crazy traffic like maybe, well, obviously Los Angeles or New York, but
I mean, it's not even crazy like Atlanta or Nashville, which are two places near here that it can be a nightmare to get around. You don't have near the problem here getting around.
And how far away are you from Nashville?
Probably about 3 hours, counting the fact that you're going to get Nashville traffic.
Yeah, okay, all right. Do you head out to Nashville ever?
Not for barbecue. It's right down the road, so occasionally mainly go there. They get a lot of concerts that Memphis doesn't. So when people from Memphis go to Nashville, it's normally to see a concert.
That makes sense. Well, Craig, thank you so much. This is invaluable, and I'm going to put together a companion blog piece that'll go with this, with even more links. But I'll have in the show notes, I'll have links to all of this and to your book and to everything that you've done. So thank you so much. I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Excellent. Well, have a great day, and I'll send you a copy of this one.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Greg.